last short win in this cluster, anyways.
Oh, look, real quick.
Sure. Shibai cells are even stronger than Hashirama cells, but seemingly might be more stable, or at least not rejected from the body, which is interesting.
Yeah, like you don't die. Like if it fails, it's just no. Well, didn't get it. Oh well.
Like, remember how difficult it was for Orochimaru to get a single child to not die of the, like, dozens?
Even the Boruto anime, the car actuation arc, they it was the car actuation arc, right? Whatever. I think it was the car actuation arc with the smiling doctor lady that beats up her patients or whatever. Whatever arc it was in. It was the car actuation arc. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where they find the Hashirama cell and the girl. Anyway, she was dying from
Mhm.
it before they took it out.
Yeah.
Even Mitsuki could handle it, but even he was having some adverse effects because he
Yeah.
wasn't like really compatible with
He
it.
was
I'm pretty
struggling,
sure.
bro. Yeah.
Like, he could survive because his body's so special, but like he doesn't work with Hashirama cells apparently, which is kind of interesting, not gonna lie. Surprising to say the least, but regardless, even Mitsuki wasn't working. Why is everyone just compatible with Shibai? Is it because he's a god, so he's just compatible with everyone, essentially?
Uh, so that's one aspect, is that, like, Otsutsuki purification, and then, like, oh, every human's half Otsutsuki, if you want to go that route. Unlike Hashirama, who's like a mutated, different, niche, unique form of human. It's like a different species almost, a cross
Yeah,
species, whereas pure species, I don't know. It's one route. Another route could just be like the chakra itself, like pure something, or like even tremendous chakra that just bypasses genetic nonsense. Um,
I'm noticing how many topics there are. This is impossible.
um, another okay. What would you think about this rewrite? I think it'd be really cool if this was sort of take away from Code maybe a little bit. Not really, because Code already has enough. But if every Kara inner, the reason that they're inners is because they survived getting a Karma seal, but they all got the white Karma. None of them were compatible for the black Karma. And that's why they were given the Shibai cells, because they just knew it was going to work because they survived the white Karma. That's freaking difficult. Or at least they survived Karmification. And Code's still unique because he still has limiters, whereas all the others didn't.
That would definitely be interesting. I will say
Also gives
though.
all the inners a
So
reason
with
to
this
scale up.
one, what's the reason for Code's limiters in this case? Is it because of the Shibai cells, like he awakens the power unlike the others, or is it because of the white Kara like it was originally supposed to be at least?
Sure. I mean, you could go for the same reason and it's still fine. Because say whatever you want about the white karma. The point is that Code is just so strong, and that's why he got the limiters, and like all the others who got stronger. I
Yeah, but I think
amplified
there
them,
should.
but I limited Code. Because he's strong. Regardless of the white karma.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, you just pick a reason. That would definitely be interesting. The alternative I was gonna say is maybe just like the inners are the only people who survive the Shibai cells. Like the others just die, and a lot of people die. So like Garo and Ao just don't have them. So like they decide, okay, we'll give some people just some regular ass ninja tech. They'll be our outers. The ones who survived the Shibai cells will be our inners, kind of thing. That could also work.
And that'd be
And then
really
Code can
cool.
just be the
Yeah.
unique white karma seal. Maybe he gets Shibai cells first and he awakens the Shinjutsu, and then Ishiki's like, oh, he not only survived, but he awakened the Shinjutsu. He might be a perfect karma vessel candidate. So he tries it just for the hell of it, and then it doesn't work, but he survives again, kind of thing. You could do it backwards order too. I think either way works,
Yeah.
really. They're
It
just
especially
different.
works for what
It depends
Kara
on whether you
is.
want everyone to have white karma or not, really.
Well, I think it works, but the Kara organization, look, Kara means husk. what's more of a husk than the white karma seal itself? Like, it's just perfect. Like, all the inners, they're inners because they survived the karmification. They're strong enough to do so, or whatever reason. And again, this gives them a reason for each of them to scale up. Delta being a whatever, like a Mitsuki body who just has scientific ninja tech, that's not competing against KCM1 Naruto. I don't care what, bro. It's ridiculous. And then this could
Yeah.
also be like Boro, instead of him just randomly going crazy haywire when you remove his core, what if that just is his karma state? For whatever reason.
I mean, I definitely see your point. I had something I was about to say and I forgot.
Maybe another Kara inner?
Oh, right. Thank you for saying the word Kara. Whereas I completely agree, but I will say, Kara the Husk, at least in my opinion, is really referring to Kawaki the Vessel. He's meant to be a husk, a shell for Ishiki.
Yes.
He is the husk.
Absolutely.
Kawaki is Kara. And so, and with that in mind, does it really matter about the white karma seal Kara? And it's like, not really, because that's not really what the point of Kara is.
Well, yeah, but the Akatsuki still wore red clouds on each of their clothes. So,
But, I mean, the problem though is, I mean, the vessel is supposed to be the husk. So if they're not vessels, they're not husks. I don't know. It works and doesn't work, I feel like.
well, I think it's just both. And so it works, and so that's all that matters. Plus, it gives a reason for the Roman numeral numbers to be on their cheeks. In this case, Jigen's just like counting the people who have survived the white karma.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
Like I said, you can do it the other way around with the Shibai cell thing too. Either way would be cool, but I like the concept that they're just the survivors
another
of the
aspect
Shibai
of
cell
this,
stuff.
This could be really interesting. Koji's both narrative success and his flaw going forward, his success in the Ishiki arc, is that maybe Ishiki, once he was awakened after Jigen died, Ishiki can be like, come on, Koji, you're a Kara inner. I know you can use it. Your power from the white karma. He's like egging him on to use his Otsutsuki power, raw power, and Koji's like, no, I'm a ninja.
He insists on being a shinobi.
Exactly, so he relies only on Sage mode, but then we know based on the OW arc that you should use both, and so that's something he could learn in the future.
Yeah, and that also works well with what we're saying about Boruto. He's only relying on his ninja stuff and trying to avoid karma, just like Koji in this hypothetical.
Yes,
and
that's especially where he could
eventually Boruto's gonna have to overcome it. He's gonna come to a loss because, at least if they write this properly, he should come to a failure because of that, and he's gonna have to overcome that Otsutsuki part, accept who he is altogether. And Koji could essentially do the same thing, or maybe he doesn't, to be a foil to Boruto, however you want to approach it. The point is, that's a good idea.
That freaking gets me excited, bro. That's awesome. I love that idea.
I will say, there is the one thing. No, granted, you can just do something else, but the one thing I will say is, especially in light of the code thing we mentioned earlier, him and Kawaki, they're always used by others, he knows it well, blah, blah, blah. I will say, giving everyone else white karma does decrease the apparent parallel between Kon and Kawaki. That's not to say that it would be deleted, because you still have their character parallels, but it stands out more when it's just the two of them in Kara with the karma.
I know what you're saying. But
I do think it decreases that, but this Koji aspect, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I love the idea.
I think because there's already so many other characters with karma that parallel to Kawaki that it just doesn't matter. Like, Jigen has it, Boruto has it, everyone has a freaking karma still, so I don't think that necessarily matters as much as a standout aspect, but I see what you're saying. But it's not like they're doing much with the standout aspect anyways. Like, everyone hates code, so at this point you might as well.
Yeah, I mean, alternatives would be maybe Koji just has it, and not necessarily like Boro and Delta. So Koji could just be one extra person. Maybe Amato just does it. So, granted, I guess that would be a spoiler that it's Amato's doing if we just know that Amato did it in that case.
You know
so
what?
Maybe you can't do that.
The Roman numbers would be really interesting because he's going in order of people that awakened the white karma / got into Kara.
Yeah.
And so in this case, we would just rewrite it to where Jigen is 1, Kawaki is 10. And I would assume that Amado would be 2. Maybe Koji could be 9. But like the rest doesn't really matter. But I like that idea.
Yeah.
Kawaki's the last one.
Either Code or Koji would be 9. But yeah. They'd be the last 2 besides Kawaki.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Well, actually, Code would be 10 based off the way that
you're right.
Well, we could just rewrite it.
Okay, that works perfectly because
canon,
Kawaki already looks
one.
like he is. Well, no, Kawaki is 9. That already works.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then final thing I'll just say on that, this isn't a new point, but just adding on to the previous side point, is that Deepa's chess form would be his white karma, and then Oga, if you watch the Squid Games arc, you already basically know whatever her white karma form shenanigans would be, so it works for that as well. For Victor...
Nope, I haven't seen it yet still.
Yeah, I know. For Victor...
I'll watch it in the dub, I guess.
Okay. For Victor, you could say it's interesting because even if you're keeping the fight short, you could at least have it be really interesting and cool. I'm thinking manga only. To where, like, versus Koji, wow, oh my god, Koji's so powerful, he just one-shot someone with the karma in his base. That could be interesting to work with. Or you could just have it be a really, really cool animated fight, even if it's short.
So, if we're doing this, do you want to adjust, especially in light of some of the stuff you're saying anyway, do you want to just adjust how the white karma works to where, with Code, quite frankly, if you just deleted the karma off of every panel, you wouldn't know that he was using karma because nothing changes. He doesn't do new things. The power doesn't change his appearance, minus the tattoo itself. She doesn't gain new jutsu. Nothing changes. Would you just change it to where they all have either a new ability from the karma or a new form from the karma? Now, because it's white karma, what I'm thinking is if we go with this hypothetical, instead of, Karma V2, you get Ishiki's horn. Because there's no Ishiki, what it does is essentially it unlocks something specific to you. So you'll have your own unique thing. One way so kind of like Madara's Limbo, Sasuke's Meadow Tejikara, each person gets their own unique thing from their white karma. In a sense, it's almost like the white karma, rather than making them Ishiki Otsutsuki, it makes Boro Otsutsuki. Now, maybe we don't have to actually do that. But at least in concept, like they might not literally be Otsutsuki-fied, whatever, that's fine. But the point is in concept. So Boro has his Karma V2. It's going to look like whatever. In this case, we'll just keep it the same. He's the big giant elephant. Deepa has his jester-looking thing.
Yeah.
Delta gets whatever, and so on and so forth. I like that idea. And in Code's case, we'll give him something new with his claw marks.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
we'll just make it up.
Here's what I was saying with that. So we're going to rewrite it to where instead of just limiters in general, it's instead a restriction to where he's unable to access his karma seal. So once Amado takes off the limiters, the restriction, his new form is a result of his new access to the karma seal that he can now access for the first time. So he's just not using it in the Code arc at all in this case, which I think is fine.
So I like that idea that, so Code, it was so strong because you can add in, the Shibai cells is why he's this strong, whatever the reason is. Code was so strong that his white karma, honestly, let me know what you think about this. It almost makes the whole dud idea feel even stronger for Code and his hatred, because it's not just a dud, he's not even allowed to use it right now,
Yeah.
period. Whereas Kawaki not only can use it, it also works. So I feel like that almost strengthens
Yeah.
that contrast. Maybe you disagree, but I kind of like that concept.
Yeah. Plus
So Code has to just rely on
a small thing, but
the
this
karma.
also is like the compromise with Code's design because he wouldn't just by default have his vampire design, if you want to call it that. He would just still have his normal design. And when, like we were saying earlier in a previous stream, whenever he activates his white karma seal, should be when his hair turns white and he gets that form.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you were saying earlier as well, just like a minute ago, we would give him a completely new power to go along with his white karma seal in addition to its design. He would already have the claw
question
marks.
is what?
Yeah, the question is what? Well, I would just give it, again, like you were saying, something based like narratively around him, but we don't have a narrative to go based off of yet. So we'll have to wait for his backstory.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I mean, at the end of the day, I hate to say it, Ikimoto or Kishimoto's draft or Kodachi, if he's still around, someone, an editor, someone can think of something. Okay, they know what Code's character is supposed to be. They can come up with a metaphorically sound ability.
So what if you? I don't want to remove Delta's eye beams, but maybe if you like remove the negate healing factor from it and give it to Code, he can sort of like make black holes or warps or whatever that don't teleport, but just erase matter entirely. So I think could work narratively for him.
I think
similar to Kamui in that case, but there just is no Kamui dimension. Just erases you.
Yeah, so what I was thinking, okay, let's just let Delta's eye beams be what they were. Okay. This is kind of too OP given Code's abilities, but so you're probably gonna want to reject this. But I'll mention it anyway because it came to mind. Do you know, like when Code can like put his claw mark on you, for example? Mm-hmm. Instead of teleporting something, what if he could? Well, no, he can teleport it, but what he does, it essentially like. So if he teleports your arm, let's say, it literally rips off your arm. It's not like the way it works where it's like still attached. It will literally just rip off your arms, but that'd be too OP.
I get what you're saying there. I think he should have a completely new thing instead of an upgraded claw mark, because I feel like he would just have that anyways. And even if you're saying it's a new ability of the claw marks, it would still be an upgrade of the claw mark. Because I was thinking the same thing with the claw grimes. If we were going to go that route,
then? Because the Deepa example is just more hard cubes.
Well,
I think upgrade's fine, but yeah, I agree. It should be more than just my cubes are harder. It should be like, okay, I can do something completely new with my cubes at the very least, kind of thing. Same claw marks.
And so, okay, how about this? We would just slightly add more to the Deepa fight to where his form does something new. His chest design.
Yeah.
Just has a new whatever. If we're going to go this route for the upgraded claw marks being new, I would say some shenanigans along the lines of it has ability to give life or something or the other.
Okay, you might be going the same way as me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. You had the same exact idea. I was going to say, what if his ability was to essentially either give life to the claw marks, so that's how they become claw grime, or if he puts the claw marks on, let's say, a tree, that tree turns into like a tree warrior, aka claw grime. Either way.
Yeah.
It's almost like, making a black Setsu, but like an army of them as claw marks.
Exactly.
But you're making basically his ability is the claw grind, like you said.
In this case, I would probably rewrite the war arc to where there are no Tin Tails minions. And so that even if you would have it to where like maybe Code tries to do this beforehand, where he just like takes a piece of the Tin Tails off and it just is a blob on the ground that does nothing or like disintegrates or even morphs back into the Tin Tails. It just absorbs by just gravitas, like how Jorah was just like waving the fruit thing to his hand. What was it, the thorn? It just like goes back into the Tin Tails. But like now he can turn it into a claw grime, so it's like a completely new thing that we've never seen before. That could work, maybe. We're gonna go that route. That
I
would be
mean,
interesting.
even if the Tentos minions are in the war, I still think it's fine. Because in this case, it's still Code's ability, what he's doing. I get what you're saying in that aspect, but
If they're gonna do that, then I want to see this Ten Tails not be able to do that.
yeah, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah. I didn't get to say this about Victor earlier. Going back to that, one more aspect to this would be I think this would probably work better if instead of Victor, his whole thing is like regeneration. He can have that anyways, especially in the anime. But well, especially in the anime, his like regeneration can be based around his white karma seal, regardless. Especially his like 2-hand form, well, 4-hand form, I guess I should say, 2 additional hand form. That can be like his karma ability or whatever. But I think this works better if Victor dies his ignorant, arrogant death, trying to just rely on the raw power of the karma seal, and Koji just burns him to death anyways, which is going to parallel later why he knows it works, why he can kill Jigen, who does the exact same thing, rather than a regen thing or a shrinking thing or whatever. Because of
That
the
could work.
Yeah. There you go. Are there any other card
Either way
members
works
with
for me,
ability? I don't
though.
think so. Oh, right.
Well, I
So
don't
this would
know
also
who
be
would
interesting
get
for
the
Amado, because
Delta.
up until now, Amado would be the exact same
No
way,
idea.
to where we don't know he has a karma seal, a white karma seal. But like, based on everything we've seen, it should be implied, and we're just wait. That's just another mystery Amado sus thing that we're just waiting to see how it plays out, which would be really cool.
Yeah, I love it. And it also explains with Ada and Damon when they're hiding, because I've said this before and I won't stop. For some weird ass reason, Ada's always hiding one of her hands. She always put, not both hands, one hand. I believe it's her left, if I remember right. She always puts that hand touching a table surface, touching her lap. She never exposes that palm of her hand. She's always covering it. And Damon's got his hands covered by his shirt at all times. And it doesn't feel like they're going for this white karma anything shenanigans, but I'm still left wondering, why is she hiding her hand?
So I
There was
know what
nothing
you're
there.
saying.
And that would work well for this idea of her hiding abilities. She's hiding the fact that she too has a karma, not just Shibai cells.
I get that, but listen,
But granted, I feel like it might be obvious to go, like, of
you
course
know,
you do.
there's not a chance, not a snowball's chance they're gonna actually do that, because that's cool from like the viewer audience
No, I agree.
perspective. In universe, that makes less than no sense. Like, she's just been in the village for over 3 years, not covering her karma sealed hand, and no one's seen it. Not a chance, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but either way, I will say though, in this hypothetical, I still feel like it'd be obvious to Cove. Like, yeah, you were told to be disposed of. Of course, you have white karma. Would that be like the first thing I'd guess? So it wouldn't be that much of a surprise if everyone else has it. But in theory, I guess it could work.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought of something. Okay, for the Amado thing, the reason he escapes from Sai when he goes to go protect Inojin, the thing we were saying earlier,
Is his karma
white
ability.
Karma. Yes.
We don't know what it is,
Yes,
but he does something with it. Like maybe,
so well.
yeah, whatever it is, it undoes the snakes that are tying his hands.
Mm-hmm. So in this case, whenever he puts the bomb under Shikadai's neck and he activates like the sound thing, would you just have that be scientific ninja tech, or would you have that be karma related? Even adjacent.
Both work well because the ninja tech makes him look smart. Obviously, either way makes him smart, but like technologically smart.
I would do
And
just the ninja tech.
You could just do both, but depending on what you want to do with this hypothetical white karma ability, I do think it could be cool if it is him using his ability and nobody knows what it is. Even Jigen maybe doesn't know, because Amado has
Yeah.
hidden it so well, which
So
also makes him look extremely smart, and that's also cool. I'm fine with either. I'm almost starting to like the white karma aspect better from the way that he hid. Like maybe he makes everyone think it's ninja tech when it's actually his white karma,
that's
and he's
interesting.
just deceived everyone.
I like
That
it.
could be cool to play with.
Yes. Would you like it better if he's just hiding his ability, or the fact that he can use it, or his white karma altogether? Because when he comes to the village, part of the reason he could convince them, hey, look, I am a Kara member, he'd be like, look, I have a white karma seal.
Hmm,
He could be like,
that's
I can't
tough.
use it, or my
'Cause
ability is useless, or blah, 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 but either way.
yeah. And of course the reader's like, oh, I don't believe that. But
Mhm.
that definitely works. It also works for him to just hide it all together and be like, oh, I'm just a scientist. I don't have that.
He could
But then
even, like,
again,
use reason, like,
if
oh, well, I'm so weak that don't you think I would have used it by now if I could have?
I was gonna say all that, but the only thing I'm thinking now though is if you know Naruto fights Delta, she uses karma, and Boruto and them fight Boro, he uses karma. Amato starts explaining that everyone has karma. I mean, I know Shikadir's dumb and all, but is he not gonna like want to check Amato's hands to see if he has karma? Of course, Amato could just have the karma at a different spot and be like, see,
Exactly.
there's nothing on my hands.
Yeah.
And it's actually like on his butt crack or something ridiculous. But you get the point. Like it's not on his chin. It's somewhere that's just not on. Maybe it's on his chest.
Yeah.
And Shikamaru's not going to ask Amato to strip down in the interrogation
I
room.
thought of
So Amato just knows he'll be safe.
two stupid places is the top of his white hair or the white of his eye. His eye, whatever it is.
Okay, that's funny. I thought of another one was the bottom of his tongue, kind of like side, but the
I was
bottom
thinking
so
top of
it's
his
like
tongue earlier, but
nobody's
that
ever
wouldn't
gonna
work,
see it.
obviously. Yeah. Bottom of his tongue would be
I
interesting.
thought the bottom of his tongue though, nobody would ever think to look there.
I was thinking his tongue too. That's so funny. You just took it a step further with the bottom of it.
That could be
Perfect.
cool. I like that.
Okay.
I like that idea. So in this case, maybe Amato does know a lot about ninja tech, but
Mhm.
for a lot of it, it is just deception. And he's using his ability, whatever it is, and tricking people.
In fact, maybe he could describe when he first comes to the village that the white karma seal is actually like reconstructed from him. It's scientific ninja tech. It's just supposed to mimic the black karma seal. But then we learn later on that that was just a lie.
Yeah.
That can work. Even if Kawaki is the one pointing it out. Like, hey, that's not right. That could work. Or even
Walky
Koji
could
or
also just
Boruto.
not know.
Yeah.
I mean, he just brainwashed.
Okay. I think that's good for that.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah, perfect.
So many good rewrites today.
I know. We didn't even like mean to get to the
We're gonna have
rewrite.
to do a. I know Dyke and I's gonna want to do this in the future, but we really need to do a rewriting Boruto series.
That'd be a good topic to end it on. Now that we did it, so.
That's fine.
Okay. No, I lied. Okay.